Hey, this is Miles Morales here, and you're listening to the Dave Dynasty Show. Oh yeah, baby.
My little itty-bitty bruiser buddies.
United States heavyweight champion, Bobo Brazil.
The world's heavyweight champion from the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
The Midwest supporting, bruiser loving, positivity spreading, world's most dangerous podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty as he supports and promotes Midwest pro wrestling. Keep on growing with the Midwest Express. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on whatever podcatcher you use. We are available on all the platforms. So thank you for being here and listening to us again this week. And whatever platform you use, please make sure you click subscribe and then share the episodes. And if appropriate, leave us a rating and review, especially like on Apple Podcasts, because that helps us in these algorithms. And when people look up a podcast and it comes up at the bottom, it says you may also like, or you may, whatever it says, those reviews and ratings and everything else helps with that. It helps get us in that when people are looking up and listening to other wrestling podcasts. So we appreciate your assistance and help with that. We have a great show for you here today. We have a great young superstar on the rise, Miles Morales, on the show. We've been wanting to have Miles on for quite a while. And we finally got it locked down this week, and you'll hear an interview with him conducted by my co-host, Ike Isaacs. And then let me talk about next week. Because next weekend, on the 28th, both Ike and I will be in Chicago. We are going to C2E2. So if you're going to be in that area and at that show, let me know. Maybe we can bump into each other. But I'm going to be there perusing the convention. And then also, hopefully, spreading the word of the Dave Dynasty Show. I will have business cards and postcards, the handout and everything else. So hopefully I will meet some wrestling fans there, and hopefully we'll get to spread the word and grow the audience a little bit while we're there as members of the press. And so we're going to have a guest host next week. This is the first time we've ever done this on the Dave Dynasty Show. A guest host for next week's episode. On next week's episode, we're going to explore some of the prominent African-American wrestlers who came through WWA and EWS. Boy, I got rolling on that. Including guys like Bobo Brazil, of course, not Junior, Bobo Brazil Senior, of course, Ernie Ladd, Sailor Art Thomas, and then many, many others. And coming on to talk about those for that segment will be, of course, our historian and friend of the show, John Lawson. He will go into depth on those guys' appearances and their time spent in the territory. But to host the show and to get things rolling and to fill in for Dave will be none other from the In Your House podcast, Alakon House, the director. My old buddy will be on. Check out his show. It's called In Your House, and that's house spelled Howse. So check him out. But he will be on next week as the first ever guest host of the Dave Dynasty Show. So you got that to look forward to. That should be fun. And then I'll be back the next week. So hopefully you won't be too disappointed when I'm back in the headset running the ship here in the Midwest Express. But like I said, today we've got Miles Morales, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll have that interview that I conducted with Miles Morales, so stick around. Hey, make sure you visit DaveDynasty.com. That is your central hub for everything within the world of the Dave Dynasty Show. From there, you can find links to follow us on all of our social media accounts. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, which you will want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have lots of classic wrestling, every episode of the podcast, and other exclusive features there. While you're at DaveDynasty.com, check out the links to help financially support the show. That is how we keep this free every week. You can go to PROWRESTLINGTEES.com/The Dave Dynasty and buy a shirt to help us out. PayPal.me/The Dave Dynasty to make a one-time financial contribution. Patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty to make ongoing monthly contributions. Or you can click our affiliate links for Amazon.com and HighSpots.com. No additional charge to you, but it helps us out. Thank you for your support, and check out DaveDynasty.com. Complete your experience with the Dave Dynasty Show.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I'm your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. We are joined with none other than Miles Morales. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm Lawson, man. How are you today, Ike?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm talking to Spider-Man. How can I not? Well, hey, man, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, and we'll get into that Spider-Man stuff later. But, Miles, tell us, where are you from?
I am from Chicago, Illinois. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, but I go back and visit. I go and visit Brooklyn sometimes too, like my hometown. But I was born and raised in Chicago because it was a site to remember. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. I'm sorry. It was like I was born and raised in Chicago at the age of 5. I don't really remember much, and my mom said at age 7, "Hey, do you want to go to Brooklyn?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, I didn't know like what Brooklyn was, so like I went to go visit Brooklyn for like a little bit, for like a year. I've been in Brooklyn like 8 years old. I moved back to Chicago, and then I've been living in Chicago ever since. And then I moved to Indianapolis around 15, 16, and then I moved 16. I moved to Iowa for a little bit. Went out there to school or whatever, and then I moved back to Indianapolis. And at like 8, like I think it was I'm sorry. I moved back to Chicago at like 16, 17, and then around 18, I got my first job, and I started to pursue wrestling at the age of 20, and I moved back to Indianapolis. I haven't been back to Brooklyn ever since, but I plan to come back to Brooklyn, New York. Try to visit sometimes too, sometimes with my friends, and yeah.
Well, absolutely. So, I mean, so you've kind of been all over the place. So, you got to experience all kinds of different areas. So that's really cool, of course. So let me ask you. Obviously, you're on a wrestling podcast, so you must like wrestling a little bit.
Yes, I like it.
So tell us, growing up, were you a fan of wrestling? Was that something that you had younger? Was that something that came when you were a little older?
Oh, absolutely. I loved it when I was like at the age of like, I got into it at the age of 8 or 9. I think I would say. Me and my brother always sat down and watched Velocity on UPN, and then we sat around and watched. We never got a chance to watch Raw because we were on cable. We couldn't afford it. we couldn't afford the time. So my mom, she would go around and buy cable channels for us because like she worked a night shift, and then we'd be at home at like the age like 12 or whatever, and then we would like ask them to pay-per-views and be like, "Hey, we want to watch Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit and stuff like that." And then like it was just hilarious. We bought so much pay-per-view at the time, and then she got the cable. She's like, "What are you guys doing? Oh my god, you guys are ordering SmackDown. Oh, watch the Untitled." I was like, "Okay, listen, we can all agree on something here." And then we all just fell in love with wrestling. It was me, my mom, my brother. That was just like 3 of our things, and like we loved it because I grew up into it. My mom, she loved the Undertaker, and I loved Jeff Hardy personally. Like I just loved Jeff Hardy's work at that time, and I watched. I think it was Brian Kendrick and Paul London. I used to watch them on Velocity a lot, and then I sort of got into the groove of like, hey, I want to start doing what they're doing, and then like actually getting to like doing what I loved it so much to where I just like started doing like stuff outside, like not actually try like pursue it because I wasn't of the age as of that now. I was just a 12-year-old like doing wrestling, started doing wrestling, a little bit of wrestling, and like as I grew up to middle school and I started doing more a little bit wrestling, and then I tried to do a move on a middle schooler, and I got into a fight, and I realized that, like, I was too into it, and everybody was like, stop doing all these wrestling moves in school, and I was like, okay, and then I kept on trying to do them, it just, like, never worked out, and it was weird, like, everybody thought I was, like, a geek in school, and it's, like, loved wrestling so much to where he couldn't function without it, and that's how I loved it so much, I just couldn't get out of it, and to this day, I still love it, and I love doing it. I don't think I would actually, like, not grow out of it because everybody to this day, since I was like 10 and 12, saying I'm just a geek for wrestling and I love it, and I just nod my head and say, yes, I am.
That's right. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, you just you accept it and you just say, that's me. and let's go on.
Most.
So like you said, you eventually were like, hey, I not only do I love watching wrestling, but I want to be a wrestler. So you eventually took that next step. So tell us how you went about getting trained and becoming a professional wrestler.
Yes. I trained at the age of 19, going on through 20. Like at the end of my 19-year-old year, I went down to, I just like started promotions like, hey, I hit up Power Style Wrestling when I was in Chicago, living in Chicago. I hit up them a couple times, and I was like, hey man, what do I need to do to become a wrestler? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And then I was like, they never hit me back, and then that was like one of the first promotions I ever reached out to. And then after that, I moved to Indianapolis, when I was telling you about, I started training at WCWO. I hit up the WCWO page and started being like, hey, how do I start training? They was like, hey, just show up Sunday, and then we'll get you, try to get you trained to be a wrestler and everything else. And I met some great guys along the way. I met Bob Rogers. I met Hillbilly Jared. I met TJ Kemp. I met Don Basher. I met Pope Will. I met all the guys at WCWO. They're awesome. Shout out to those guys that helped me get actually trained and, running the ropes and everything else. My year, like 23, age 23, I was actually I took like a little bit of leave of absence, and then I wasn't really like, I picked it up a little. I was like, what am I doing here from time to time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. And I actually got that stride to actually like try to kick it into the high gear and keep on going. And that's what led me to my career now. I never gave up. I just kept going. I tried to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And as obviously, especially when you start training and everything else, a lot of people that I've talked to, even some people who have been in the business for a long time, they even said, at first, you get into the business, you start doing, you're like, well, do I want to do this? Is this what I want to do? But like you said, you didn't give up, so you just kept pushing.
Yes.
So obviously, with training, you train, you run the ropes, you do all of that, but only so much can be learned just from, doing training matches and whatnot, and things of that nature. So, what was your very first, match in front of other people like?
Oh, that's hilarious, because I actually got that match recorded on YouTube right now, and I'll go back and look at it. Like, man, it was JKO, Joey Owens, and me versus Jonathan Wolf and Cole Radrick. And man, that match, I look at that match where I was just like so green, and like I just went behind the ears. I just didn't know anything, and like I never even wore kick pads, and I was like, I looked so like hilarious. And like I didn't even have a name before I went out, and nobody knew who I was. And like my first name, like my name that they didn't know who I was. They was like, hey, who's this guy? And I was like, okay. And then like Hillbilly Jeff put me to the side, and Rodney Rush did too. And it was like, hey man, what's your name gonna be, or whatever? Like they were like, what's your name? I was like, okay, my name is blah, 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 blah. And they was like, well, you know what? We're just gonna, like, do this, and, like, this is what you're gonna do, and before you go out, this is what you're gonna do, and this is what you're gonna do. I was like, okay. I told them, like, hey, this is my name, I'm sticking with it. They're like, okay, that's fine. Well, we'll make some twists and turns to it. If that's fine, I was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, it was like, this is, Miles is your name. I was like, okay, cool. And I didn't really understand it until, like, I saw the movie, and then I started like rolling with it, and I started actually getting to the groove of the whole Miles Morales thing, and started to actually connect people, and started to actually become one with the character, and start to put my little twists and turns on it, as they may say, and try to like put spins on it, and make sure it's my own little thing, to where it's not actually the Spider-Miles Marvel character. It's myself, because I am Spider-Miles, I am Dr. Miles, I am Immortal Miles, whatever you want to call it, because I put that twist and that turn to it, to where people can relate to everyday lives and become one with myself, and just like to have fun. That's all it is, man. Just like to have fun.
No, absolutely. And that kind of leads into the next question. I mean, Obviously the character. I mean, like you said, your first match, you're always a little green, but obviously, you've been in the business for a little now, so you've had some experiences and you've been able to grow on that and to continue to develop your character. Like you said, you become one with that character. You are that character. But one of the great things about independent wrestling is that everybody has their opinions on independent wrestling.
Yes.
So for you, with independent wrestling, being an independent wrestler, what do you see the best and the worst part of this business?
The best part about this business is that you can go around and you can say and you can show people that you're a professional wrestler because they can relate. If they are a professional wrestling fan, they can relate because they always want to just a kid, and you can tell other little kids that, hey, I've done this, you can also do it, and anybody else can also do it. It doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter if you're 65, and you want to be a wrestler, you can still do it. It doesn't matter if someone says, oh, I can't do it because I have this issue. Just like, for instance, Gregory Iron. He's a handicap hero. Still doing what he loves because he doesn't. Those barriers are broken because he still strives and he still goes for greatness, and he's a great person because he still pushes himself. He still goes. He can go. He can still go, and he's awesome because I saw him at Emerge the other day. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. There are people that I see now to where I'm just like, wow, they came a long way. And I look at the kids, I'm like, this could be you. This could be you. Do not give up on your dreams because no matter what you want in life, it's achievable because I am doing it, and you can still do it. And the bad part is some people don't actually stay on course of their dreams. They sort of drift apart, but if I was to give them any advice is to stay with that passion that you had when you was 5 and 10 or even 18, hell, to stay with that hunger, stay with that drive. Don't forget where you came from, because there are some people in this business that forget where they came from, and it's hard to make them remember because they don't remember who you are, or they don't remember. Some people don't remember where they came from because they're so sometimes a little bit big-headed. I would say it, but it's hard. Like, it's hard to, like, tell, like, just to reach out or anything. There are people that's bad about this business that may think that, it's hard to actually tell people how you feel, physically, verbally. But it's another thing that's a good thing about this business, that it's easy to show how you feel in the ring. And the fans can relate, and you can also relate because you showed them what you can do in the ring and what you're going through in your life, like passion, emotion, and obstacles. So, like, that's the good negative kind of thing I like to think about something. I'm in the ring.
Absolutely, no, yeah. And and that's a very good point too that you kind of made about there are a lot of people who kind of they go off course, they kind of stray from the path. They don't follow their dream, or maybe they're not living their dream to the fullest. Maybe they're taking a sideline when they shouldn't be taking a sideline.
Yes.
That's a very, very good point, of course. So I guess kind of along the same lines, we talk a lot about the good part of wrestling, the positivity of professional wrestling. Since you have been in wrestling for a little bit now, you've had a lot of great experiences, I'm sure. What would you say is a top highlight of your career so far?
Oh, man. The highlight of my career? There's so many of them I can't really choose right now. Let's see. The top highlight would be, hold on. I'm digging my gallery real quick. The top highlight would probably be like just getting out, just expanding, just getting out this year, trying to go for like as many promotions as I can, and showing people there's not a limit to what you can do, and you can do anything in this business as long as you keep at it. Just like this, starting this year, it's just been like crazy because last year I didn't think I was going to be able to get nowhere, or years ago, I didn't think I was going to be able to get anywhere. But like this year, I seen like at the end of last year, I started to so like, and it started to open up doors for me. So like, other than that, another highlight would be when New Wave Pro champion, the Crossroad, not the Crossroad, I'm sorry, the Ultra Rapid championship, and that was the highlight of my 2020 year. Going to 2020 with the open mind, knowing that people believe in me, like Sam Knight, Dalton Davis, New Lee, Michael, like Chris, everyone that is there, everyone that are there, they believe in me. They gave me opportunity. I knocked out the park. They just believed in me so much that I have another home. I have heart for them. I have somewhere to grow, and they gave me that platform to show that I can go toe to toe with people that people don't think that I can. And then the other highlight would be like just trying, like, going against people like Cold Storm. Who else? Let me see. John. I started, like, we both started, like, I didn't really get people start taking me up under their wing and start showing me what I can do. I know people believe in me so much. Like, when I first came to like New Wave, I got into my head too much, and I was like, I was just like nervous, and I was nervous and overthinking everything. And I was falling apart backstage, and that's when Cole ran to me. He was like, "Hey man, your family." I didn't know like what family meant until like I started breaking out of where I was in life, and they gave me an open door to where I can perform, and I'm so grateful for that. Most places gave me those opportunities, and I'm so grateful for all the people that gave me the platform of everyone what I'm capable of, and hopefully what I am going to be in the future.
No, absolutely. And those are some fantastic highlights, you know. And actually, I've talked to Cole Radrick a couple times here on the show, so, you know, Cole, a good dude. Jonathan Wolf, I've talked to him a couple times too. They're all really good dudes. So, I mean, you couldn't have a better family, I feel like, you know. The folks over at New Wave are very, very awesome people. So that's awesome, Don, that you guys were able to kind of mesh and you were able to find that family, because it is so hard sometimes in this world, and especially in professional wrestling, to find that kind of coach. But kind of on that, you know, having that family, obviously New Wave, I would say pretty often. How else do you work pretty regularly?
We with WCWO. Some WCWO. Regularly, I've been working for Grindhouse every other Sunday. I've worked for Leadership in the past. I worked for New Wave recently. I worked for UL recently. I worked for DCCW recently. I worked for Upstart recently. And I recently worked for Paradigm Pro. And yeah, I worked for SPW recently. I think it was last year. That's not the. I'm sorry. I'm over bomb stuff. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I worked for a couple companies in the past that I'm working for. I'm working for this year, and they all said the same thing. Like, hey man, we're all family. Don't be afraid to reach out, and don't be so scared to where you feel like you don't have anybody, and you do have anybody. So I'm just so glad that this company, this industry, is open their arms to me and showing me love that I couldn't get on a regular basis, like from family. But I'm so grateful for it.
No, absolutely. So now the question that I think everybody's asking themselves. So we're going to take this on a slightly different track. So obviously,
yeah, you good.
Or go ahead, I'm sorry.
You good.
Oh, right. I didn't want to interrupt you. No, but I was just going to say, to take it on a slightly different track. So your name is Miles Morales, and for people who don't know, Miles Morales in the Marvel comic book and now the cinematic universe is the Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So tell us about your love of Spider-Man. What kind of, I guess, how do you feel about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, when I was the age of, like, at the same time I was watching wrestling, I didn't really know who the Miles Morales character was. At first, I thought it was Peter Parker, and then, like, it wasn't until, like, people started telling me, like, oh, it's different, there's more than one Spider-Man, that just everybody seemed to grasp between, like, Peter Parker. Then I started looking into, like, these different kinds of Spider-Man there was, and there was another Spider-Man that was called Miles Morales, and then I didn't really read into it until, like, they brought up the movie, and then I could actually relate to it. Like, I think it was, like, last year the movie came out, or 2 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at remembering stuff. The movie, and I'm not really a big comic book fan, but, like, I looked into some of the comic books online, and I started to dig into them, and then I started to be, like, hey, it'll be really good if, nobody really knows, like, nobody really paid attention to who Miles Morales was until he started making a movie. And then people started, like, gravitating towards that instead of the comic books. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that me and Miles is the same person. We both like to have fun. So it's somewhat of a difference. I would say he had his dad in his life, but difference because he in his life, I never had my dad in my life to actually get to know my dad, but I never actually got to know. But there, and she showed me that it's fine, it's love to do, and you can forgive those that have left and actually have left that actually left out, and you can still forgive them when you still have a family. You can forgive those that left that you can still have a family and still become with the family instead of just going and chasing your dad because maybe your dad didn't want anything to do with. I'm sorry, I'm still rambling. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to I took away from that saying that if he doesn't want to be in my life from right now, then it's okay, I can still find family. And I found that in the industry of professional wrestling. And I want to say to everybody that I'm so thankful for you guys opening up me, because without you guys, I don't know if I would have still found the professional wrestling. And I'm just so grateful that I'm still here till today, because it's just amazing to where an industry can change you and just make you fall in love with the sport you fall in love with.
No, absolutely, and and that's I feel like the stereotypical Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility quote.
Yes.
And that can really be interpreted in a lot of ways, because within all of us there is a very powerful, great power. And you kind of even talked about is the power of forgiveness and the power of moving on. So I feel like Spider-Man as a character very much embodies that feeling, that emotion, and that willingness to be able to be stronger. And I feel like based on the story that you've told me, your life story, you very much embody Miles Morales, the spirit of Spider-Man. So also, side note, Miles Morales is arguably better than Peter Parker, but
yes.
That's beside the point. So I guess a couple more things before I go here. We've talked about what Spider-Man means to you, what messages you take from that, and what all of that, and we've also learned a lot about who you are as a wrestler, where you came from, what you've done and you plan to do. But what is Miles Morales like away from the ring? What do you do in your free time? What are some of your hobbies?
Some of my hobbies, what I want to actually get into is stand-up comedy. So it's like, I feel like that some of the wrestlers, it's so hard to break away from professional wrestling sometimes and disconnect. And I've shown that on my Instagram that I like fishing sometimes. I like to go out to the movies. When I seen the Spider-Man movie come out, I went to go see it by myself because I didn't have anybody at the time to go with, and everybody was super busy, and I just had to disconnect and get away. And I went fishing. I went to go to the movie, and I also want to try my hands at comedy right now. So I don't know. I'm okay at comedy. I'm just Dolph Ziggler does it, but anything's possible.
That's right. Hey, and John Cena does it too, or that could be his acting career. I'm not really sure. Sorry, John Cena. I'm sure you're not listening to this, but no, I mean, and that's one of the great things about professional wrestling is that professional wrestling has so much that it involves. I mean, for instance, probably one of my favorite all-time wrestlers is Cabana, and Cabana.
Oh, I love Cabana.
I mean, he's a comedian in the ring, so I mean, if he can do that in the way that he does it, I mean, anybody can do anything. Professional wrestling just opens so many doors. So, hey, I will look forward to the first Miles Morales comedy special, and I will get that on pay-per-view for sure. So I guess a couple more things here for you. So obviously, it's February. It is super cold in Indiana. It's super cold right now. It's so snowy, right?
Man. Yes.
So, but besides that, we have a lot of year left in the year of 2020. We've got a lot of big stuff coming up in the year. So, tell us, what can we expect from Miles Morales in 2020?
2020, I know that Friday is Valentine's Day, tomorrow.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. Friendly reminder.
So everybody, it's Valentine's Day Friday. Just enjoy Friday. It's okay. Saturday, I have New Era in Shelbyville, Indiana. And Sunday, I have AWR. It starts at 6 p.m. I gotta be there at 6 p.m. or 7. I posted a flyer a couple times on my Facebook and on my Twitter and my Instagram. I have tickets available for that show if you guys want to go to that show. And then I also have the 22nd on Saturday. I'm returning after a year. Wrestling Theology Fellowship in Carmel, Indiana. And then I have on the 28th, I return to Paradigm, Salisbury, Indiana. And then the 29th, I have Upstart. I gotta be there at 4 o'clock-ish. And then I think in March, the 7th on Saturday, I have DCCW in Muncie, Indiana. And then I would like to hopefully work for other promotions as well, and then show them what I am, and what I'm trying to become as a performer and a professional wrestler. And I want to go everywhere that I can possibly go. And I want to get my name out there more, that people start talking about me and seeing where my future leads, and actually get to invest in Miles Morales, actually win championships and believe in me like Midway did, and actually become a big success in the wrestling industry. Like, I want to work with guys like Jordan Ryan. I want to work with guys more like Levi Everett. I want to work with guys more like Calvin Tankman. I want to work more with guys like Justin Kyle. But I want to work with guys like Mance Warner, but it's gonna take me a while. If you guys want to see it, just start hashtag Don't Die Miles. And I just want to get out there more, and I want to show people what I'm capable of, and start believing in me instead of just like, I want to win more championships. I want to become the guy that is at least talked about in that category, instead of just off to the sidelines. But yes, I want to have my name out there more, and actually show people what I'm capable of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And those are obviously some fantastic goals for 2020. And I'm super excited to see what you're going to do this year. 2020 hopefully will be a big year. I'm hoping for it. But I guess one last thing for you, Miles, just because we live in the world of social media, everybody's got the social medias. what kind of social media do you have that fans can follow you and keep track with what you're doing?
I have Twitter at CMilesY23, and then I have Instagram, CMilesY2020. Then also have a Facebook with Miles Morales.
Awesome.
And I have, it was calling right now on Skype.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to give everybody your Skype. Everybody be calling you up, being like, "Hey, what's up, Miles?" But no, everybody out there who is listening, let me tell you something. You just heard an interview with this awesome dude who is, he's got a big future ahead of him. He's a young guy. He's got a lot going for him right now. If you're not checking him out on the independent scene, and if you're not going to go follow him on Facebook, then why are you listening? I mean, let's be honest. So everybody out there who's listening, go follow Miles and follow his career. You're not going to want to miss out on this. He's got a lot to go on, and boy, 2020 hopefully will be a big year for him. Maybe we'll see his first stand-up special. Let's see. But Miles, thank you so much for coming on the show and just, talking to us, telling us your story, and just, having a good time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ike, for having me, man. It was a blast.
Since 2001, drug companies dumped 1 billion opioid pills in West Virginia, causing over 3,000 overdose deaths and thousands of babies born addicted by no fault of their own. I'm attorney Stephen New. If you're the grandparent or guardian of a child born with neonatal abstinence syndrome, call me. I'll help you seek just compensation.
Call the law offices of Stephen P. New at 1-844-BAD-PILLS before time runs out.
If you are looking for the best books, DVDs, and posters on classic wrestling nostalgia, then you want to visit crowbarpress.com. There are literally dozens of titles there, including biographies of the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ole Anderson, Ivan Koloff, and of course, Dick the Bruiser, as we've spoke about here on the Dave Dynasty Show. You want to visit crowbarpress.com for all of your classic wrestling nostalgia needs. Again, that is crowbarpress.com. And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am Dave Dynasty. Thank you for listening today and joining us for this episode. Thank you to Miles Morales for coming on to be a guest. Remember, next week we have that special episode with guest host Con House from the In Your House podcast. He'll be filling in for me next week for that special episode. We'll also be joined with historian John Lawson to talk about the likes of Bobo Brazil, Ernie Ladd, Sailor Art Thomas, and many, many other wrestlers that came through WWA Indianapolis. Prominent African-American wrestlers that came through the promotion. So it'll be a great episode. Special thanks to those guys in advance, because next weekend I'll be in Chicago. So if you're going to be at C2E2, hit me up, send me a message. We'll see if we can see you. So until next week, when I won't be here, but Con will be here. So let me get it good here, because this has got to last you for 2 weeks. So until next time, in everything you do and wherever you go, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.